All right, welcome back to 7 Minutes in Intermodal. This is episode number 8, and I'm super excited to have on Juan Baena, who's with Savant BPO. He's actually the founder and CEO, and their website says it best. It's talent, technology, and automation solutions. The coolest thing is that we've actually met twice at two different expos, and when I reached out to him to do the podcast, he jumped on quick. So Juan, of course, man, always great to see you in person. Great to have you on the podcast now.
John, likewise. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, of course. And you're in Colombia right now, right?
Correct.
All right, nice.
Not sure if the weather. No, weather is not representing today. It's raining actually. So it went from sunny to raining in the last 5 minutes.
Nice. Yeah, we saw each other last time in California and one time here in Florida.
hmm TIA and then IANA in Los Angeles. Hopefully next year they don't do it all the way over there. It's a
Yeah,
pretty long flight
we'll
for
try
me.
to bring people over to Miami. But tell us about Savant BPO. I know you had it a couple years, but take us through that real quick. How you started it and a little bit about you.
Well, I started Savant in the year 2016 as a business process outsourcing provider to deal. Throughout time, we've been evolving and we've moved from BPO to staffing, what nowadays is known as nearshore staffing. We have an operational hub here in Medellín, Colombia, where I'm currently located. We also have a backup operational hub in Manila, Philippines, and we service mainly the US and the logistics industry and Europe as well on the logistics side of business.
Okay, nice. And in logistics, I know that we talked about it even at IANA. Obviously, it has to do with intermodal. You've been in drayage, right? For a couple of years, you've
Yes,
had some
correct.
drayage customers. What is it in drayage? You cover a lot of different aspects of logistics and beyond. What is it in drayage that you feel like you had to do a little bit differently, or is there something particular about drayage that is challenging or different?
I mean, drayage is one of those challenging segments of the supply chain, particularly because you're not going to be able to bring in somebody from the FTL over the road, LTL business, and immediately plug and
Right.
play for drayage. There's a lot of little it's secret industrial secrets that that kind of keep going on in the industry. For example, like street interchange, that type of concepts are unexistent in OTR and others. And there's a lot of data silos in the intermodal industry
Okay.
in itself. So a lot of information just comes either via EDI, and sometimes it's not complete. It's not 100% verifiable. And we also have an industry that still has a lot of faxes coming in from the
Right.
railroads. So it's a very interesting thing of like work orders coming in through fax, and we're in 2023. So that's particularly one of the biggest challenges that we have. It's and kind of seems like an outdated industry that has been having its hard time keeping up with the pace
Right.
of the rest of the industry.
Right.
Because if you go to FTL, you pretty much have freight tech and FTL is just the biggest thing in the
Okay.
world. There's so much venture capital there, and there's so many solutions and so many different providers for so many different headaches that pretty much everything has a solution at this point. But when you go into the drayage world, you have TMSs that look like they were, built in Windows 1992 back in the first versions. That are not friendly, they're not compatible, that they're not really good at giving you insights on data.
Right.
Um, I have customers that have TMSs that we have to scrape information from on a normal basis because it doesn't have a archive of more than 15
Right.
days. So when you're doing reporting, you wouldn't think that's a big thing, but when you're doing reporting and you have a 15-day archive in your TMS, it's like what happened the entire rest of the quarter, and it makes it very difficult on that end. I say for to be able to uh, analyze, measure, plan for the future,
Right.
and so on.
Yeah, and with that, I know staffing is just a piece of what you do, and the fax machines. I mean, that's a perfect example. With the automation side of things, um, you had previously mentioned that Savant is going into automation as well. So there's the staffing component, but tell us a little bit more about the automation side and how that can even help even more with intermodal and drayage.
Well, I mean, from an automation perspective, that division of our company is that's like a long-term bet for
Okay.
from here to 2030. Everybody's been hearing about
Yeah.
ChatGPT and the rise of, procedural generators and how that may affect, not one, but a lot of industries, how that's going to disrupt that
Right.
area. And I kind of foresee that in the next 7 years. especially in our area, like customer service and data entry, and a lot of those positions are going to be at risk and replaceable by technology that already exists and is just kind of waiting to be adapted to specific
Right.
headaches. So we're getting ahead of that curve, and that's why we started moving into automation heavily in the last year and a half. We've had done automation for a while, not seeing it as something that was particularly possible in the logistics industry because it's a hefty industry first. And if you look at it, transporters are very hard to make changes in their ways. If it
Right.
works, don't fix
Yeah,
it.
of
That's
course.
pretty much
Yeah, the
the
industry.
general rule of law. So we're putting a big bet on automation in order to get rid of certain tasks that a person shouldn't be doing in the US, in Colombia, or in
Anyway,
Philippines. And one
yeah,
of them is, for example, faxes.
yeah.
We have a very large operation on the fax end where we're converting faxes into data that goes into a TMS.
Okay.
And that used to be, depending on our customer size, a team of two or a team of 10 people here in Colombia reading faxes manually and just typing them into a
Wow.
TMS. We completely eliminated that component. And nowadays we have a group of people that are auditing that the robot is pretty much doing its job.
Yeah, and I mean, we see AI everywhere we go, whether it's online or at networking events. There's AI everywhere, and there's some staffing and a whole bunch of stuff. So what I know the answer, I believe, but I want to hear from you and let the people know what's one thing about Savant BPO that you would like the intermodal world to know.
Well, we're a one-stop solution when it comes to talent, technology, and automation. So if you have any headaches in those areas, we have a customized solution ready to be built out for you. Be it a team of people, a TMS that you want to build, or a process that you want to get automated.
Nice. And we're definitely gonna have to bring you back on, talk more about the automation, maybe next month. I know you're moving pretty quick, so thanks for coming on. This has been great, and I'll put it in the description of how people can contact you as well. Thanks, Juan, for coming on, man.
John, thank you for
Of
having me. Have a
course,
good
you
one.
too.